This is probably the video that's most likely to start a fire in the comments, so I'm looking forward to that. There's been a handful of Pikmin games in the Mainline series so far, and I've made a handful of videos about them. I've even ranked each game by difficulty, but I've never ranked them by how much I actually like them. Hello everyone, you're watching Variety Television, and welcome to another Pikmin video. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you that a live Pikmin theory discussion will be happening soon here on YouTube, so keep an eye out for that. Also, I'm working on theories for other game franchises such as Mario and Pokemon, so if those franchises interest you, be sure to check them out when they get here. With that out of the way, it's time for me to throw my match. For some clarification, the games I'll be ranking today are Pikmin 1, Pikmin 2, Pikmin 3, and Deluxe separately, Hey Pikmin, and Pikmin 4. The hardest one to pick for me honestly was the one to place lowest on the list because I've truly enjoyed every single game on this list so far. With each entry on the list, I'll try to provide an explanation for why my opinion is what it is. The explanation is over, so let's start the list. Coming in at number 6 would have to be Pikmin 3 for the Wii U. Don't get me wrong, I love Pikmin 3. It really got a lot of things right. It perfected the controls in my eyes, further improved the Pikmin's AI, it looks amazing, and the soundtrack hits as always. But my god is it easy. It is so incredibly and undescribably easy. Even the one part of the game that could have been challenging, where you have all your juice taken, was still super easy. The area you're in when this happens has so much collectible fruit to rebuild your stock, and you can easily get your juice back in a day or two. I'd be willing to bet, if it's possible, somebody has gotten the juice back on the same day it was stolen and collected all the fruit in the area. My main argument against this game, I suppose, is that if you want any challenge out of it, you have to pay for DLC or come up with a challenge to impose on yourself because Pikmin 3's base game will not offer you any. Number 5 is going to be Hey Pikmin. I don't really have a lot of bad things to say about Hey Pikmin because it's honestly a decent game. The reason it's at number 5 is simply because I don't like it quite as much as the other Pikmin titles. As an overall title on its own, it's solid. It is a fun Pikmin-themed puzzle platformer, and honestly, it works. I feel a lot of the hate surrounding this game comes from die-hard Pikmin fans that thought it was going to be some sort of GameCube port or classic-style Pikmin game and was upset that it wasn't. Nobody was willing to accept something different at the time, and it received a bunch of hate out of the gate, a lot of which came from people who probably never even played it. Moral of the story, give Hey Pikmin a chance because it is okay to be different. Coming in at number 4, and I'm really excited to see the comments about this one, Pikmin 1. As I've stated with all of these games so far, I really love Pikmin 1. I don't dislike any of these games. It was one of my very first games that I ever owned and was one of the first things to introduce me into video games in general. One day my dad was just like, "Here, this is yours," and gave me a GameCube and a copy of Pikmin. This was my first console ever, not including handhelds because I had a Game Boy Color, and it was my first ever game for my console. I don't know if it was for Christmas or a birthday or what, but I do remember it was not wrapped in any kind of gift paper. He was just kind of like, "Here you go." Anyways, I have poured hours of my life into the original Pikmin game, and it has been a constant source of fun and comfort throughout basically my whole life. The reason it is where it is compared to the other games has to be chopped up to two simple things: the controls and the AI. And don't get me wrong, I understand this game is what started it all, but compared to the others, it has by far the most archaic controls and by far the dumbest Pikmin. These days, whenever I go back to play it, I find myself forgetting very often that Pikmin don't automatically grab pellets that they knock down in the game. You have to call the Pikmin back and throw it again after it knocks a pellet out of a flower, leaving you to have to babysit each flower while you're trying to build your Pikmin army. It's really no big deal, but it's the little things like that that have other games above Pikmin 1 for me. Okay, so then on to number 3. Fittingly, it's Pikmin 3 Deluxe. It has all of the things that I liked about Pikmin 3, but improved and with more. Pikmin 3 Deluxe's base game, as you probably know, includes all of the DLC content that was released for the Wii U version of the game. This includes side stories, Olimar's comeback, and one of my all-time favorite modes ever released in any Pikmin game ever, Pikmin 3's challenge mode levels. There were some challenge stages in the base game, but 3 Deluxe includes all the DLC stages as well, which is 4 or 5 whole new stages for both the Collect Treasure challenge and Defeat Enemy challenges, meaning there's a total of like 32 challenge stages as well as all the boss runs. These challenge stages are the whole entire reason that I ever go back to play Pikmin 3 at all, and I think they are a perfect example of challenging and fun in Pikmin. Number 2 is Pikmin 2. Pikmin 2 has always stood as my favorite game in the franchise. While I personally feel like it can be a bit too harsh at times, it's still been easily the most diverse, challenging, and fun entry for me. The 2-captain dynamic is perfect, the diversity of Pikmin is fun, the world is engaging, and again, the soundtrack is solid. If you've watched any of my theory videos in the past, then you've definitely heard Pikmin 1 or Pikmin 2 music in the background of almost all of them. This game introduced caves, which are extremely fun and dynamic, and the idea of collecting treasures, which are 2-scale human remnants like bottle caps or batteries, and that's just so cool. However, there is one game that I think hits almost every one of the positive notes from each game so far for me, and that's our number 1 entry, Pikmin 4. And I'm not just saying that because it's the newest game either. It has an amazing soundtrack, which you always want. It takes the 2-player idea from Pikmin 2 and combines it with the controllability of Pikmin 3, and then adds to that even more with Ochi. It keeps the vastly improved controls and lock-on from Pikmin 3, however I do still find the auto-lock to be annoying. It makes it tricky to throw Pikmin at something specific without cycling through everything nearby that the game thinks you want to get. The cave idea from Pikmin 2 is back with many caves, some of which are even returning from Pikmin 2 or referencing it at the very least. The amazing Pikmin diversity from 2 and 3 are here, and then some. 2 gave us white and purple Pikmin, and 3 gave us winged and rock Pikmin. 4 gives us every single type we've seen before, excluding the Puffmin and Bulbmin of course, and even adds 2 new types onto that. Ice Pikmin join our crew of daytime adventurers, and the Glow Pikmin use their incredible strength to help us guard their nests at night. The game has by far one of the coolest and most in-depth stories, and clearly takes a dive into the lore side of things, which I absolutely love and appreciate. Any amount of world building or history for a game I love is always appreciated, as it gives us more to consider and appreciate while we play through the game. I'm going to have a full-on Pikmin 4 review out soon, so I guess that's kind of a taste of how that would go. I do like Pikmin 4, but I also have a lot of in-depth opinions about a lot of individual aspects of the game, and I think they deserve their own video. But let me know in the comments, what order would you put these 6 games in? Remember, it's okay to disagree, and I look forward to seeing all of your opinions. Don't forget to check and make sure you're subscribed, and consider leaving a like if you enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for watching, but that's all I have for today's episode, so stay tuned. Variety Television will be right back.